Hey guys, this is Anthony Morganti from OnlinePhotographyTraining.com. Welcome to my video series, Mastering the Nik Collection. Several years ago, the Nik Collection of plugins was the #1 set of plugins for Photoshop and Lightroom. Cashing in on their success, they sold off to Google. Google marketed the suite for a couple years with a few updates. Then they announced that they would not be updating the software any longer, and they made it free to download. Around that time, I did a set of training videos on the software that proved to be very popular. Recently, the company DxO purchased the rights to the Nik Collection and announced that they would be developing and updating it. Although it's no longer free, it is nice to have a caretaker for this software because it is very good. With all the good things happening with Nik, I decided to update my training videos on the product. This new series will be more in-depth and thorough than the previous series. Please be aware that I have no affiliation with the company. I'm not being paid by them to do these videos, and if you purchase the software, I will not be making a commission on the sale. With that said, if you could do me a favor, if you like these videos, please click the thumbs up button and share them. Finally, if you can make a donation, I would greatly appreciate it. That info is in the description below this video, along with a link to my Code of Ethics statement. Let's get started. This is the 20th episode in my Mastering the Nik Collection video series and our last video on Analog Efex Pro 2. All we'll have left after this video is to cover Sharpener Pro 3. Now with that said, I just kind of want to pause here for a minute and just mention if there's anything I didn't cover, anything you're a little bit confused with, let me know and I'll make sure that it's either included in one of the Sharpener Pro 3 videos or I'll just make a new video where I cover things that I didn't cover. Just put it in the comments below this video and I'll see it. Now, I mentioned this is our last video on Analog Efex Pro 2, and as you can see, we're going to be using it as a Photoshop plugin. And as I mentioned several times in this video series, if you're using any of the Nik plugins as a Photoshop plugin, you should create a smart object. When you create a smart object, it will allow you to come back in and re-edit anything, meaning we'll send this image over to, in this case, Analog Efex Pro 2, do something there. When we come back in Photoshop, if we didn't like what we did, we could go back into Analog Efex Pro 2 and pretty much pick up right where we left off. It seems to have really a history file when you use a smart object. If you don't use a smart object and you do anything in any of the Nik plugins, in this case Analog Efex Pro 2, and you come back into Photoshop, whatever you did is baked into that layer, so you really can't edit it or do anything differently except really scrap it and start over. So I'm going to make this layer, this background layer, a smart object by right-clicking on it and then go down to Convert to Smart Object. And it just takes a second, and when it does, you'll see it's now layer 0 and it has this little square in the middle or in the corner indicating it is now a smart object. So I'm going to send it directly over into Analog Efex Pro 2. By the way, this is an image that I downloaded from Adobe Stock. I just wanted kind of a moody image. I think it's going to fit well for what I'm going to be demonstrating today. So we're going to click on Filter, go down to Nik Collection, then to Analog Efex Pro 2. And we'll click on that. So it's going to take the layer and it's going to send it over into Analog Efex Pro 2. And it's going to add probably the last preset I used, and I probably won't like it, but we'll see. Oh, by the way, when you do send an image as a smart object into any of the Nik plugins, you'll get this warning. Though it's just saying that it's identified that active layer we sent over here is a smart object. So it's going to operate as a smart filter, and that means it basically allows you to go back in and re-edit things. And it also mentions that brush that is in the Nik plugins. When you use it, it's only there when you use it as a Photoshop plugin. That brush will not be there, which is fine because I've mentioned before, in my opinion, that brush is worthless. So we're going to click OK. And it's going to load our image, and it looks like it's going to add this preset that we created a couple videos ago I called Tony's Look, and I don't really care for that look. Do you? Yeah, not really. But, I mean, it's okay. Let's see what, this is the one I created in our last video. I said it's something I'd never do because I mentioned this is probably something I'd never do. And actually, tell you the truth, I kind of like that. So you should never say never. But I digress. This isn't what I want to cover in this video. What I'd like to cover in this video, I'm going to go first up here to the actual presets that come with Analog Efex Pro 2. And I'm going to click this right arrow to open up the tool combinations. I'm going to click on Camera Kit. Then I'm going to go and I'm going to remove all the tools that were added to this image. I'm going to remove multi-lens by clicking on the minus, film type by clicking on the minus, dirt and scratches, and you can't remove basic adjustments, so that's there. What I want to cover is one of the tools that I think may be a little confusing to use, and that is double exposure. So I'm going to go over here to the left and I'm going to click on the plus sign next to double exposure. And what you'll notice right away is it kind of gives this kind of like ghostly glow to the image. And when I hover over the image, we have this box here. What I want to really mention is there's really a couple different ways you could use this tool. And I'm not sure everyone really understands that. First of all, when you just add it like it is, you could see it's really kind of doing a double image of the existing image and kind of giving it this kind of ghost glow. And you could control that ghost, that so-called ghost, with these bottom two sliders, zoom strength and rotate strength. First of all, with zoom strength, that is actually how prominent is the ghost. Okay, you can see, like, look at her right arm here. You can see there's a ghostly glow around it. Now, as I move this down, you can see it's making it less prominent. And it does that everywhere, of course. So all the way down, it's not there at all. And if we move that up, it's there. Now, rotate strength, that kind of just spins it. If I go to the right, it's going to spin it clockwise. So it's kind of rotating the ghost in a clockwise direction. And if I go to the left, it rotates it counterclockwise. It's rotating it this way. So those are the two sliders that kind of control this ghost look. The top two sliders are just really control the exposure, first of all, the overall image, this first slider. So if I go to the right, the entire image really is getting brighter or darker. Exposure balance is really how prominent do you want the ghost again? Do you want it like more dominating the image, so it's really ghosting out a lot of it, or do you want it less prominent by moving it to the left? So this is one way that you could use this tool by just applying it and adjusting these four sliders. But you may notice to the right of where it says second exposure, there's a little plus sign. This allows you to add a second image. So you could add an image as a texture, or you could add an image as, just an effect. And I'm going to add some out of focus lights to this. So I'm going to click the plus sign and my Mac Finder window pops up, and I'm going to add another Adobe stock image right here. And I mentioned out of focus lights. And when I add it, it's basically you're laying it right on top of the image, and you can see they're out of focus lights that are at the bottom. Unfortunately, when you do this, those bottom two sliders are now gone. So you cannot really rotate this with those sliders or kind of affect that. But there is a way you can rotate it in that. If you hover over the image, you can see this box is here. So if you want to rotate these, in this case, out of focus lights, you just come outside the box and you'll see your cursor turns into that double arrow. And you can just rotate it around. You could also move them by going right in the middle where this button is, and you could drag it around. So you could bring them lower or higher into the image. You also could make them bigger. And to make them bigger, grab on any of the handles that are in the corners and just drag it out diagonally. And you can see how you're making them a lot bigger. So I could come down here and pull it down a little bit and rotate it. Maybe move it over this way a little bit. So different creative things you could try to do with these in this case, autofocus lights. Now, these two sliders, exposure and exposure balance, they pretty much do the same thing. With the exposure slider, if you move that to the right, you're kind of making the entire image a little brighter. The exposure balance, do you want the top image, the image of the autofocus lights, do you want that more prominent, or do you want the bottom image, the image of the lady, more prominent? And with the exposure balance, if you move it to the right, the top layer is now there all by itself, all the way to the right. But if I go to the left, now that top layer is totally gone. So you could blend it basically, so it looks nice to you. Now, of course, you could always go back to your basic adjustments tool and you could adjust things here. Like I'll bring saturation down more. Contrast down a little more. So I could come back and readjust anything here, which will affect the bottom image. It's actually, it may look like at times that it's affecting the entire thing, but it's not. Like if I go with brightness, it's hard to tell, but those autofocus circles are pretty much staying the same, in this case, brightness level, but it's hard to tell because they're overlaid on the other image. So I kind of like that. Let's go with that. Now, if I do want to save this as a preset, I could click the save button up here at the top, but I'm not going to do that. I've covered that in the 2 previous videos on how to create a preset. But let's say I'm ready and I want to save this and return to Photoshop. So go down here in the bottom right-hand corner and click the OK button, and it's going to then create this montage of 2 images that I created. And there it is. And you can see now in the layers panel, we have it as a smart filter. And if I want to go back in and re-edit anything, click right where it says Analog Efex Pro 2. Just double click on that. And it will reopen Analog Efex Pro 2. And you'll be able to, everything will be, the settings will all be right where you left off. And you'll be able to, and you'll get this warning again. And you should be able to come back in and just re-edit. Now it's acting kind of wacky at the moment. There it is. There is our adjustments. Our adjustments are right where we left them, so we could come back in and readjust anything. By the way, if you want to remove your top image and do a different one, right to the right of where it says second exposure and that little box, you'll see that X. If I click that, I'm not going to, but if you did, it would actually remove the top autofocus lights in this case, and you could perhaps add a different one. So I'm going to leave it at that. Now, again, I think it's a relatively easy plugin to use, Analog Efex Pro 2, that is. It's not too difficult, but I do understand that I didn't cover a lot of the different tools. I don't know how popular of a plugin this is. That's why I didn't cover them, but in the description or in the comments below this video, if you'd like me to mention something in an upcoming video that you'd like me to cover, mention it. Not only about Analog Efex Pro 2, but any of the other plugins I covered already. I just want to make sure that when I'm done with this series, that it covers everything that everyone needs to know in order to effectively use the Nik series of plugins, effects, whatever you like to call them. Thank you, everyone that watches my videos. I truly do appreciate it. I'll talk to you guys soon.